haven't used that one for her yet.
Yeah.
Call the meeting to order.
The Monroeville Town Council met on January 8th at 7 p.m. with the following members present: Don Gerardo, Tim Berry, Chad Heffernan, Joan Boltzmeyer, and Richard Stevenson. The minutes of the December 4th, 2024 meeting were read. Rich made a motion to approve, seconded by Joan, and passed. Motion to approve resolution number 2025-1 for industrial park declaratory resolution for tax abatements, presented by Rachel Black. Tim made a motion to approve, seconded by Chad, and passed. Motion to approve final payment for the industrial park sign for $24,529.38. Joan made a motion to pass, seconded by Rich, and passed. With nothing further to discuss, Joan made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Rich, and passed.
Any additions or corrections? Being none, we need a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise. Clear path. Dan.
Tim's looking at the contract right now that we're putting together for the trash bid. I made a few corrections in there because there's some options about recycling. The Allen County Department of Environmental Management is kind of nicely trying to get rid of this thing out here, I think, the way
I think that's what they're, cause I got a letter. Did you get this?
I got the email.
Okay.
They're kind of making it harder. Like, they're gonna start charging us when there's contamination, and there's always contamination because so much of the stuff that's put in there isn't supposed to be in there. One of the things was, it was just 10-gallon totes. I said we probably want the full 96-gallon, just the same size as your regular trash can. What else did I have in there, Tim?
Okay. What did I send you?
You sent me from Stacy.
48?
She said 48 or 96. And
48 or 96.
Yeah.
But it'll be,
Right, when there was a person from Waste Management that met with Don and I, and he said there's literally no price difference between the two. So if it was me, I'd rather have the 96-gallon. If it's gonna cost me the same as the 48, it's gonna take up pretty much the same amount of space. And there was gonna be another option in there to do what we're doing right now, but through our contract and not the county's. So we just kinda wanted to get ourselves set up in case they wanna pull that from us. Cause they just sent an email to Don and I today saying they're only gonna start dumping it once a week.
right, I've got that right here.
Okay.
That they're going back to once a week. The last time you and I met with Stacy, what did she say they were spending? 41 or 2,000 a year for it?
They are spending a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember, it's been a while ago. I probably got the paperwork somewhere, but yeah, they do spend a lot of money on it, so I understand where they're coming from. But it was nice to have what we had. And
We
didn't have to pay
also
for it.
talked to her about putting a manned recycle thing in.
I think they lost the funding idea for that, so that's out the window.
Oh, okay, she didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
so.
that was the email sent out a while back. They wanted to do a manned station with compactors. I don't know if you've ever been someplace like that. I know I've been on vacation places and the town had like one spot everybody would take their trash even, and it would go in compactors, but this would be just for recycling. But at first they said they would man it, and then it turned into we would man it. As in we would pay somebody to be there, and it would just be under certain times, whatever, but that all went out the window.
Yeah, they had applied for a grant to buy the equipment if we would furnish them with property, which would have been fine, except for the labor cost.
Right.
Yeah.
How does the mobile home park work with trash?
she sends them one bill.
That's,
Okay,
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
they're included.
so they are, the park, the whole park is one subscribing residence, not each individual mobile home.
Right, but we have, how many totes are they charged for right now? Do you know that? Well, it doesn't matter as long as you know, because I know in the past Kevin had texted me and said, hey, they need 5 more totes down there. They had some more trailers move in. So I assume that's, you're able to change that based on the totes, because that's how the trash company's gonna bill it. Especially with this waste management, I mean, if they would happen to get it, they literally have a barcode on theirs. So it knows if it's dumping one, or it knows when it dumped it. So if you say it wasn't, it was out, but they didn't dump it, they have all the data saying we were there, it wasn't out. So
If they take pictures, if they pull up to your place,
the truck automatically takes a picture every day.
yeah, that automatically takes a picture so that you can't, if you take it out an hour after they're by.
But that actually helps me out, cause I get calls about every other week that I had mine out and they didn't dump it, and I'm like, well, you probably didn't, but, and then I go down there, load it up and dump it in our dumpster, which usually isn't a big deal. It is what it is, but, it'd just be nice to know.
65 is what they get.
Okay, I thought it was around there, 60, 65.
Okay.
So, the other thing Dan asked me about was, do you want the trash companies to quote this twice a week, once a week, or both?
Which?
The
big
downtown
one.
dumpster down here.
The recycle dumpster that they have now.
Downtown.
I think I would have them quote it with one, but also say what it would be if we would decide to go twice a week. Because Christmas time, even twice a week, it's piled up over here.
The only problem with that is there's a lot of people from out of town that use.
Just I ask you.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
drive in and
so-
dump their stuff.
So
Wow.
maybe we could get support from Stacy for that. That would be a good question for me to call her tomorrow morning and ask her.
Yeah.
If we're willing to split it with you or whatever, is this doable?
I'll bet if we tell Stacy that we're bidding this, having it bid with the totes, then we could probably get her to keep this here and dump it like every other week.
True. Oh, she knows it because I sent it to her.
Okay.
Because I sent Tim the
Well, but
return from her.
That one only says once a week. The one that you sent her says once a week.
Right,
Doesn't say twice a week.
right. Well, no, I'm talking curbside pickup. It'd be every other week.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's several people interested in that contract because they've been ringing my phone off the wall, and I'm sure they have.
I haven't got any calls.
Oh, you
I'm
have?
surprised I haven't.
Okay.
Larry probably has.
Yeah, I hope.
You know, about.
When do you want to bid back?
What's that?
When do you want to bid back? Or when are they doing that?
That'll be, I don't know the details of when we're,
The other thing we need to talk about a little bit, do we need them to bid it for anything that's out? Or one big item once a month? See, Republic picks up whatever you put out generally, as long as you're not a big offender. But, and that's the first full Tuesday of every month, first full week with a Tuesday in it of every month.
right.
We don't have that in there, I read over it.
I don't know how you would even word that though, because like you said, Republic says one item,
Right,
but
Republic.
they typically will pick up what's there if you're not completely abusing it.
Right,
They just did this, Donnie Simpson called me and asked if they would take fence pickets. I said, as long as it's not a whole truckload, sit it out there. If they don't take it, just throw it in our dumpster. Well, I
Right.
went over it, it was quite a few. And then I went over there today and they picked them up. So,
okay.
it's just, it depends, and it depends on the driver sometimes too.
Well, see, it depends on the driver, but see, I had also gotten an argument with them over the one item.
Right,
Because our contract says whatever's out.
that's
This,
what I
this one
thought.
says one large item pickup per month. I didn't define large item.
But I don't think they will either. I don't, even the waste management guy said, I said, what's a large item? And he said, well, an extra bag's an item. You know, I said, you know, so an extra bag's the same as a milk jug sitting right next to it, you know, or, and he's like, an item's an item. Okay.
See,
A couch is the same as a bag of trash.
okay, Fort Wayne does it, if you have, let's say you have a couch and you wanna get it picked up, you call the trash company
Yeah.
and you pay them,
Right.
and then they'll pick it up.
See, at my mom's house, you had a different number, you'd call it in and they'd come out and pick up 3 different things.
Okay,
You know, they wanted to know what they were and stuff like that. They would pick up mattresses and that, but you had to have them wrapped up,
Mhm.
yeah.
you know.
So I think this is
So
a tough
how
one
do you-
right up.
how do
There's so
you
much
word
gray area.
that?
Mhm.
I mean, I would like for them to bid it with anything that's out and or one large item. Because I think if the bid's the same, you would take the one that says anything that's out.
Yeah.
That's not, that they would normally take.
Right. The only problem I think we'd have with that is if it costs us that much more to take anything that was out, just for the few times that there is people that put way too much out, then I think we're throwing money away.
Right.
So I mean, the way we do it now, it's not a problem very often. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen. It's just, I mean, we could bid it that way and see what the numbers come in, but I think they're gonna go sky high on you.
Well,
So
I
they don't
think
get
they
screwed
will
on the
too,
deal.
but it'd be interesting to see if they just bid it the same, because they might.
I wonder if anybody actually reads this. I think they read the optionals, but I don't know that they read that much,
Well, if it's in there though, they gotta stick to it.
correct.
And that's kind of why I was all about going to bid again, because it used to be, you sit it out, they take it, and then all of a sudden I was getting calls, hey, there was way too much sitting out on Railroad Street today, the guys didn't get it. Well, you know, I'm thinking, is that in the contract, or,
It was in the original one. Or the one we have now, was that they would take anything.
This is the.
They volunteered that when they bid.
they did, I remember sitting there.
Because basically that was one of the things that was a good selling point.
When someone moves out and they put the whole house on the curb, it's,
So is it if they have to get out of the truck to
Put
pick
it in
it up,
there as
and
an
that's
optional,
what's
but
the deal?
Anything.
yeah, they do have to get out and pick the
Yeah,
stuff up on heavy trash days.
one
They
time
bring-
a
They have a
month.
different crew that comes in.
Other- One
But it's a
time a
different truck,
month.
it's a rear load where they can just throw it in the back.
Yeah, cause I know with the buckets that there's,
The ones that need to get rid of the stuff won't get rid of it anyway, so.
That's about all I had was that contract.
Okay. Jeremy,
Yeah, actually, I wanna thank the town or Dan, whoever came out to fix the gutters on the front of the station.
Are they fixed?
Yeah, it's, up and been cleaned, somebody scraped underneath it and then, fixed up above and everything. So, if they're not sagging and ripping off the front anymore.
I wonder,
Well,
because Abe and
see.
Tim cleaned them out, because I did mean to bring that up too. So the gutters have been leaking on the fire station for a few years now. And Rick got a hold of me to see if I minded if he would get some quotes. He got a quote to replace the front and the back, $15,000.
Because they're over
They're
size of
in
7
odd
inches,
shape,
yeah,
they're
7
big,
inch,
whatever, but still, it's insane. So he got another guy's name and he come out and looked, and I was there when he looked at this time, and he's going to reseal all the seams. I thought he was gonna fix the gutter.
Well,
Anyways,
if they're not fixed, they're up and in place, there's no gap between them, they're not bowing down like they were, so.
Okay, but this guy's going to fix it and put leaf guards on it for $1,500. So we said, go for it.
Did you guys clean up underneath it then?
Yeah.
Did you guys scrape the pavement?
Yes.
Okay, I assumed you did everything, so, I seen it today, but.
15,000.
It's just a zero.
The only other thing I had then, besides that is, in case you guys hear anything, we're gonna bring it up at the next fire meeting, which is next Monday. We're gonna start going through downtown Monroeville, through the town, and actually any business, and the fire department's gonna start doing pre-plans, for, if there would be a fire response or a medical response or something like that. We all have this app that, I Am Responding, and you can put in pre-plans for like where your hydrants are through the whole town, where it has not been updated in years. And so we've had some medical runs downtown in the buildings, and they come in as the building below, but it's obviously a residence above. So you go in the building below, like there was one year or two ago at the Blueberry Pancake, came in as that address. Well, we walked in there, walked through the entire place, nobody knew where this person was. We went upstairs and we had to go to the different apartments because they're not labeled correctly. So we're gonna start doing some pre-plans, so if you hear anything from anybody, from any of the business owners or stuff like that, nobody has a target, there's no rhyme or reason, we're just doing it. So that way we know if we do have a response there, where we're going, what's going on, and what we're dealing with.
Okay.
So, that's all.
Or Tatum.
I just have the confirmatory resolution, this goes back to Rachel Black, that says, we're confirming we're adopting the economic revitalization zone, so that we're all set. So that got published, I think, Lori helped me with the Monroeville News. They also published in the journal, so it was 2 spots, so there's 4 of these.
You should have the proof of publication.
I do,
Okay.
yep. So I need those 4 signed. Here are those 2 buttons. I just think you gotta hold on it done.
I wonder if once they got all that weight out of them.
Someone need to sign.
I don't know if
Need a vote.
there's.
Need a vote.
Need a vote.
Oh,
But it is something.
Okay,
Something that comes
it's
off
already
the roof and then it bolts to the gutter. So I wonder.
Okay, Monroeville Town Council, confirmatory resolution for the designation of economic revitalization area. Resolution number 2025-2. Need a motion to accept it. Have a motion,
I'll second.
have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed likewise. Clear pass.
Did you go on Monday? That's the eighth one, so.
Yeah, that's what I said, it's like, it's done, it's already done.
It's supposed to be measurably clear in the next couple of 10 days at least.
That's it, that's all I have.
Okay.
Rachel was supposed to come present it, and she said, it's supposed to be freezing rain, I'm not going.
I don't blame her. I really don't.
on Wayne Asphalt that need to be approved for payment. The first one is pay app number 7. And this is for the street improvements. The amount is $61,534.96. 96.
Need a motion to pay Wayne Asphalt $61,534.96.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion? Got a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, likewise. Clear pass.
And then the second one is the retainage for those street improvements, and that one is $43,413.36.
Need a motion to pay Wayne Asphalt also, right? Yeah. $43,413.36.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, likewise. Yeah, we was talking to Todd today about this, being off 1 cent.
Oh,
He was here. And what's it? 10. Okay. We got bids today for North Street and Dale Spieth for drainage and repaving. The projected cost of the probable bids was $293,525. Okay, and of this, the state pays 75% and we pay 25%. But the bids came in, API was the low bidder at $263,180 even. So,
Who was that?
API.
API.
Okay, and Wayne Asphalt's bid was $279,974.50, and Brooks's was $337,749 even. What I need is permission to sign a contract with them contingent upon post-bid documents that we are waiting to get from him.
It's a motion thing we have to do.
Yeah. Make a motion?
Second.
So you got this.
Oh, okay. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, likewise. Clear pass. The date on the contract, is it May 1st?
Yeah, so the current contract ends April 30th. But May
Okay.
1st is a Thursday, so I don't know if they would start the first full, I assume they'd start the first full week in May. What's trash day?
Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Oh, we'd be okay.
Yeah, okay.
One more question on that. Do you want to rebid this in 3 years? We stuck in last time language that allowed us to renew with the same provider for an additional 3 years on terms that we agreed to.
Yes.
Do you want that, or you want to rebid it every 3 years?
No, I don't think we wanna rebid it. If
You put the option in there though, right?
Yeah.
yeah, put the option in there. Yes, please. That. Okay. Dan and I's been discussing with ERI increasing the capacity of the sewer plant. Okay, and I just wanted to tell everybody that they're going to approach IDM. Because the problem is, when we needed to discharge, we had no stream flow. Well, we gotta be 10-to-1 dilution factor.
Are we at like maximum capacity now?
We have a lot of infiltration, which means that when it rains, we get a lot of water into her. And we're working on that too, ERI's looking into it, but it's not an easy thing to do, because they're trying to figure out what pipes go where and where it's tied in and it shouldn't be, and it's 4 foot underground.
Yeah.
So they've done cammering and all that. But on a typical day, we're fine, but like with the industrial park, or if we want to add residential or something around town, we're pretty tight to do something like that. And what he's saying is, I dump those ponds into the Flat Rock Creek. I have to measure that creek every year and create a graph inches down from the bridge on between, the jog on Flat Rock, you know, where the tracks are over there. And I have to measure that down, and it tells me, based on those inches down from that, how much flow I have in the stream. So if it's flowing 1 million gallons a day, I can only dump 100,000 gallons. That might sound like a lot, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a day, that's a day. So, there's times in the summertime, especially this last summer, where I had almost no stream flow. I couldn't dump, and I was getting to the point where the ponds were as full as I've ever seen them, to where I hate to call IDEM and tell them I'm in a spot, because I don't want to put us in a spot, but I had to. What's my options here? And there are options, but it also puts up a red flag on us too, you know. I can do an emergency dump, but we don't want to make a habit of that. But I mean, that's our biggest problem, is dumping.
If we can increase our capacity, see, I had a person that had contacted me about building 400 houses, which would basically, if we had another 50, I don't know how much close we are, but I don't think we could probably handle over another 100 or so.
On our permit, we can take 230,000 gallons a day. I mean, when it rains sometimes, I'm double that. Now on a typical day like today, I was 140. In the summertime, when it's been dry, I'll be under 100 for some days, but not much, like 99, 98. But 400 houses doubles the town. I mean, we have, I think, almost 500 meters in town, so, I mean, that would take us right there on a typical day.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the next thing that we're, in order to continue to expand. And you can go to a full mechanical plant, but full mechanical plant is subject to a lot of hours of contact. You have to have a guy there 20 or 8 hours every day.
Yeah, it has to be pretty much manned, not 24 hours a day, but with what we have now, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time back there. It does the work itself. But to go to full mechanical, it would be a long-term cost of another employee.
Right. See, Burns got what they call a
SAGAR system.
Yeah, and that system you can discharge anytime, correct?
That's what I met with the guy yesterday, and he said you can do that, but I know Burns dumping into the Wabash, you know, they don't have to worry about flow. We're dumping into the Flat Rock Creek, and
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there staring down at water to see if it's even moving this summer. That I find it hard to believe that we could dump like that, but that's what we're gonna learn here. ERI's gonna dig into it, and but if we could, that'd be great.
but that's one of the things that is probably gonna come up.
Full mechanical, but they're dumping in the
What kind of costs you looking at? Yeah,
No. A full mechanical plant, you're probably looking at, I don't know, what, 8 million?
What's that?
Full mechanical,
Oh, it'd be multi-million.
yeah, it'd be,
I mean, plus much more equipment to keep up on. I mean, there'd be an upfront cost and a lot of long-term costs too, but,
yeah,
I was also told, I forget who just told me that, oh, maybe it was Jim said when we were talking to him, that he can't see us having to go to a full mechanical plant on a town this size. Now, the Sagar system is a mechanical plant, but not to the level of like what Woodburn just put in.
right,
I mean, Woodburn's not that much of a bigger town, but they got a lot more industry. You know, so they're taking in a lot more than we are.
yeah. Now,
Plus, they have them all me right there.
yeah, they dumping them all me too. Gentlemen, Rich,
On that, what you were just talking about there, is there somebody that's looking at it, or we can do a study and, give us some numbers?
ERI will do that.
DRI,
They've already got a lot of our numbers from the last wastewater project, whenever we did the manhole seals and all
Yeah.
that. They ran all those numbers for, I mean, he's got it all from when we get a half inch of rain, this is how much it goes up or whatever.
Okay.
They've got a lot of that work done already. It's just a matter of what our options are to
Right.
treat everything and up our intake.
he's been checking with Vern, and who else did he say today that he would check with?
I didn't hear today, or hear what he said about it today,
Okay,
other than IDEM. I know he's gonna check with IDEM and
Yeah.
Dr. Byrne.
well, what he's trying to do is get, for one thing, if you discharge with no stream flow, you have to be able to figure out how to do it. Basically, I mean, we could do it, but your dilution rate.
Yeah,
And he said that he thought we possibly could get the dilution rate changed, but that last summer wouldn't have helped.
no, unless you can do it with nothing. Yeah, just to give an example of how much more time it takes, I test once a month
Yeah.
on our water coming in. If I'm dumping, I gotta test weekly as I'm dumping. If we have something that's constantly dumping, like this Sagar, you're testing every day. And if that alone is a couple hours of every day. So, on top of the upkeep on everything and keeping an eye on things.
No, I just,
Is there
looking
some-
at if we got a heavy water user that was out here in the industrial park,
Yeah.
it would affect us. At least this way we'll have an idea.
Yeah, to set
Work
something
out.
like that up, that you get state grants or federal grants or anything to help with that? I'm sure there is.
Probably,
There'd probably be a rate study done.
Yeah,
yeah.
So when you say you're looking at the expansion, is that to do the Sagar system, or does expansion keep you from having to do that?
That's just an option that they're looking at. We're welcoming any options
Exploring all
that
options.
helps us out. That's just one example. I come across it just cause I've had to talk to the burn guys a couple times over other certain things. And, I asked Jim Reckler if he knew anything about it. He kinda knew a little bit about it, but not everything. So that's what he's gonna dig into that and then look into every other option there is. When we went through the last wastewater project, they gave us like 3 options that we could do before we decided on one. I think we went with maybe the one in the middle,
Yeah,
price wise. Larry was still here at the time, so I don't remember all the details on that. But, I still don't think any of those options were increasing our capacity.
no. they
And also
weren't.
our permit, we have to get a 5-year permit to use that.
Permits coming up,
And 2025 is the last year of it.
yeah,
So he's working on that too. I don't see any possible way we get our numbers up by the permit, but still, I mean, this isn't something that would happen overnight. I mean, it would be a long deal. So hopefully if we start working on it now, by the time the following permit comes, maybe we can get some stuff going. And I don't know if you can change it mid-permit. You know, if we would do something and have it done in 2 years, that's something Jim will have to look into.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? So if we got it and we're still at 230,000 for this next permit, we put in this fancy plant or whatever we end up doing, can we say, okay, now we can dump 700,000 a day or whatever?
well, that, and he was investigating the amount of solids that you can discharge and
Yeah.
some other things
Right,
that has been the same for,
right. Yeah, our numbers
50
are always good
years.
test-wise, so that's what I asked him if, you know, if I can show my numbers are good, can I get a better rate here?
mhm.
But,
You're good.
depends what goes in there. It depends what goes in there. But
Motion to adjourn.
when, like
Second.
Matt Vaughn.
Got a motion
he
and a
works for
second.
the
All
county,
those
he helps us out a ton.
Favor,
He sent us a
signify by
couple
saying
examples
aye.
of the way this
Aye.
whole thing works.
Opposed?